Hey guys, and how's it going? Hey, this is my 70s Kubota L-Series tractor that I picked up next to a friend's house on an estate sale. I don't know, maybe 5-6 years.
He never steps into the frame. No big reveals, trend chasing, neon arrows, or exaggerated thumbnails. And still, millions keep coming back. Not for drama or spectacle, but for the quiet satisfaction of watching something broken breathe again. This is the world of Mustie1.
I'm gonna move some bottles and junk out of the way here. That's blowing out any tires. Clean this up.
You might think you know it, but what happens when the camera stops rolling? The answer is stranger, softer, and far more revealing than you'd expect. The calm voice over the hum of a carburetor guides your attention. But what you're really feeling is something else entirely. You might ask yourself, when did I become so open to being soothed by omission rather than showmanship? That sensation is not accidental. It's a gentle invitation to notice the space between words, stillness between gears, and the humanity in quiet. No one knows Mustie1's real name. He's never confirmed it. And in a place where identity is currency, that's a choice louder than any shout. He started at uploading small engine revivals in the early 2010s, back when YouTube still felt like a curious archive rather than a megaphone. There were no flashy intros or face reveals for clicks. There were just trimmers, mowers, mini bikes, ancient tractors, creatures thought dead.
Hey guys, how's it going? I was at a yard sale this past weekend, a estate sale. One of them is the house where it is. And everything was going in it, and then inside the house, kind of where that door is,
Reassembled and restored, piece by silent piece. And the world noticed. Millions of subscribers followed, drawn not by hype, but by something else entirely humble and real. He made silence and carburetors go viral. That's how one viewer put it. What began as someone tinkering in a garage became an internet phenomenon, a slow, deliberate defiance against influence culture itself. For a moment, imagine, could subtle craftsmanship and restraint ever speak more profoundly than a million screams? The answer, unexpectedly, is yes. He worked in long, indulgent stretches of, why don't we just take a moment to calm? Videos that stretch 10, 20, 30 minutes without flashy cuts. You listen while cooking, nursing a migraine, or while drifting towards sleep. The narrative is built on process, patience, and presence. Watching feels like sitting next to an old friend who knows how to repair things and maybe knows how to repair us. And you realize as you watch, what would happen if more videos felt like a slow exhale? That feeling of slow restoration is part of why his content works. The builds aren't glossy, they're satisfying. A carb clean under his hands gives birth to a purr. Coolant drips from a mower's deck, then stops. The throttle adjusts, and with a surge and sputter, the engine hums again. And you are there with it, witnessing tiny miracles. It feels like watching your grandfather fix a machine with infinite patience, and it's exactly that tone that makes it anti-YouTube. Still, somehow, the algorithm bows in recognition because maybe that's not the kind of hostility it expected. You pause mid-video and think, why am I captivated by nothing but parts and a quiet voice? Isn't that the same odd hush that suspended the world just a few years ago? Then there's the mystery beyond the workshop. Fans have built theories. Was he a former mechanic who quietly retired? A retired engineer with hands too skilled to stop fixing anything? Maybe there's a military past, discipline transformed into calm restoration. We watch for signs. He never name drops. No family appears, mentions of payment or wealth. No flaunting success or flashy tools. It's intentional minimalism. Focus on the machines, not the man behind the camera. In a world of oversharing, he shares just enough to be human and no more. What you don't see has become just as important as what you do. On Reddit, there are entire threads dedicated to dissecting the clues. People freeze-frame videos to spot reflections in chrome, measure the height of his shadow, even compare the way he grips a wrench to mechanics they knew in the service. Some debates get strangely philosophical, arguing whether knowing more would ruin the magic. I don't want to know, one user wrote, because right now he's a little bit mine and a little bit of everyone's. That comment sat at the top, upvoted thousands of times, because it felt like an unwritten rule in this quiet corner of the internet. Have you ever thought that perhaps mastery and mystery make better company than a constant feed of faces? That restraint, not exposure, builds intimacy. Every once in a while, you catch a flicker, a calloused hand, glimpse of dusty boots, partial reflection in a darkened window, a soft "my shop" slipped in casually, a mention, "a friend helped me," but always the tease you're given breadcrumbs. The rest you fill in quietly yourself. That's why the loyalty runs deep. You're more than just a viewer. You become part of the story by imagining yourself in it, placing yourself in that workshop, and hearing your own heartbeat steadied by that engine. Sometimes, just as the workshop feels safe and steady, cracks can appear. Like when a subscriber noticed Mustie1 seemingly removing negative remarks under one of his marine engine videos. They wrote on Reddit, "He's removing negative comments from his marine engine video. It's apparent it is him. I unsubscribed and moved on." It's unfortunate that a person with a gift to repair can't fix his problem with it posting bullvine theology. Politics. Did wish him best of luck. That sentiment resonates. Someone who once offered solace through silence now seemed to be editing, not engines, but dissent. Criticism, swiftly removed, can feel like a shift, even when the tools in hand remain unchanged. After all, restraint is only trust building when it respects the viewer's voice as much as the creator's. But then comes the unexpected effect. Over and over, people share that his videos help them through depression, anxiety, and insomnia.
So some stuff's kind of coming back to me what I did again a couple of years ago. So what I did was I took the shifter assembly out of my other tractor, put it in this tractor. And the reason why...
In the darkness of night, headphones on, listening to engines come alive and they don't feel alone. Thousands learn mechanical basics because there's nowhere to skip ahead. Every step is there. It's beyond content. It's a company. A viewer once wrote, "He made me feel less alone even if I never saw his face." That line, a quiet confession, suddenly feels like its own repair job. It's like he repaired loneliness. In a world craving connection, his anonymity created it. In the middle of all this, there's no merch drops, drama, shouted calls to join, buy, follow, or to watch. Just quiet, consistent presence. Every 5-10 days, a new video. There's a strange comfort in repetition. The same wooden bench, the clink of tools, and the measured way he explains what he's doing. Over time, it starts to feel ritualistic. Viewers begin to anticipate the moment he'll pause mid-repair to clean his hands, or the way he gives a machine one last pat before turning it off. It's a kind of secular liturgy, an unspoken ceremony for those who find peace in the ordinary. And so, what's being shown? Just enough to fix an engine. What's being hidden? Enough to let you show up with your own story, own interpretation. There's something beautifully paradoxical about how Mustie1 operates, or perhaps it's not paradox, but design. In a media landscape of oversharing, he silently taught a lesson in beauty, the power of restraint. You might wonder, what comes next for someone like this? If tomorrow he stopped posting, would he simply retreat into that same workshop, fixing machines for himself and no one else? Or could the future hold a book, a quiet documentary, maybe an apprentice who carries on the same understated craft? The not knowing becomes part of the intrigue, a reminder that stories don't need to be fully told to matter. In that place, you learn something quiet but vast. Mustie1 may never go viral for a thumbnail or headline, but in this world screaming for attention, he built peace, gave absence meaning, and reminded us that sometimes what you don't show is the point, because perhaps the most powerful creators aren't the ones you can see, they're the ones you can feel. In the end, Mustie1's story is beyond machines. It's about the rare space he's carved out in a noisy world. His quiet presence reminds us that connection can live in the smallest details. A turn of a wrench, the hum of a motor, and the pause before a final cut. Maybe that's why, long after the video ends, you'll still hear that steady engine in your mind, reminding you there's beauty in simply showing up and doing the work. That's the unspoken gift, and maybe it's what all of us, Those who share and watch prove we've been searching for.